The Navy chaplain exists to support the spiritual, religious, moral, and personal well-being of the members of the Department of the Navy. A group of Navy chaplains spoke with us about what it means to serve.
It was years ago that I felt the calling to the ministry, and it was actually while I was still in high school.
After I graduated from college and went into the Navy, I was involved in several religious groups that were there on the base.
I really kind of grew up without any particular faith.
And I wanted to study the Bible more on my own, and I felt that God was calling me to have more of an impact on people.
Well, I didn't decide to become a priest until I was my late teen.
I was an attorney in South Carolina, and I practiced law for 9 years.
But I taught for 7 years. I became a high school principal.
I took this test, and my top 2 interests were military officer and minister.
But there was just something else that seemed to be missing, a itch that regular parish ministry wasn't scratching.
And I really wanted to be a Navy chaplain, like even when I was in the seminary.
So the calling that I kind of was sensing, it was a slow one for me.
The very first Greek Orthodox priest on active duty in the Navy came to visit the school. I learned a little bit about his ministry, about the diversity of his work, and that appealed to me.
Originally, I was going to be a missionary in Africa, in Tanzania with my wife and three daughters.
And I remember reading articles about the shortage of chaplains in the military as a whole.
I kept waving my hand to the detailer and said, hey, can you please send me to the Marines? That's where I want to go, that's where I want to serve. And just everything I'd heard, everyone saying, that'll be your favorite tour.
No group of people need God more.
I guess for me, I've served North Island, down in San Diego at an air station, served on a ship, served at a training command, all mostly Navy.
When you come over here and you realize that you are in a combat zone, people start thinking a little bit more about their spirituality and what's really important in life.
Just a few times, people have said to me, you know, how can you be a chaplain? And I try to explain to them, you know, hey, you know, the freedoms that you're enjoying right now, you know, there are men and women in our armed forces and all the branches that are defending that right for you to do this or that, you know, your freedoms, you know.
The chaplain's role is kind of, there's a couple different pieces. Obviously, when we go in, you know, we're there to support the mission, the whole mission at hand. But then what we do is, you know, we're there with our guys, our coasties, our Marines, our sailors. And even though I'm a Navy chaplain, you know, we're there for the airmen, the Army that might come on board. We're there for everybody.
Part of the Constitution requires that military personnel have the ability to worship whatever God they choose, so long as it conforms to good order and discipline within the military.
Out of 900 Navy chaplains, more or less, there are 9 or 10 rabbis. So we depend on Christian chaplains to minister to Jewish troops. Just as a Navy rabbi, I spend a considerable portion of my day ministering to Christian and sailors of all different religious backgrounds.
Spending time not necessarily behind a pulpit or in a church, but out in the mud, in the rain, in the elements, working with these people.
You know that when you're out, when you're PTing with the guys, and you're hanging with them, that you're in.
You're creating a relationship that is much like any other colleague in their midst.
To be able to have that kind of access in ministry to the troops where you're just with them 24/7, it truly is an incarnational ministry.
A lot of the counseling I do in the field is not, you know, hey chaps, can we meet at your tent and talk about, or you know, that whatever chapel we've created, can we meet there and talk about that? It's typically, you know, we're on a hump somewhere, and I've, you know, been drifting up and back down the line, and someone begins to talk to me about, hey, my wife and I are struggling with this, or my child's going through this, would you mind praying?
To have someone there that wears a uniform and goes where they go, I think is really helpful for them.
Just being right there as they're coming back in from their patrols and sometimes going out and patrolling with them, having those opportunities to be right there with them in those moments of where literally the enemy is all around you and literally they're being shot at every day, and engaging the enemy that's right there. And so that to me was the most rewarding ministry, the moments of my life that I'll never forget.
When you deal with a sailor, soldier, airman, or Marine, and you do something for them or be able to help them work through an issue, and you realize that your intervention made a difference in their lives, you realize that you've done a good thing, you can go to bed satisfied knowing that you're in the right place.